happened?
I was trying to cancel freaking pest service.
Yeah, man, and that's how the chaos starts.
Yeah.
Ashley comes in huffing and puffing. You've been really busy and doing like a lot of adulting.
Too much adulting.
Are you okay though?
Yeah. But the just to wrap up the pest service. So basically we have this pest service and I've had it forever since we moved into the house, basically. Mm-hmm. I've had a pest service. They just come and spray. And you notice as it's going on, like, gosh, they're really efficient because they've been here less than 10 minutes and they've somehow cleaned all the cobwebs, checked everything, and made sure there's no activity and sprayed. And they're done? That's amazing. Like, I don't have a really large house, but I don't have a really small house.
Well, you have a great house.
Wait,
I love my house.
But do you have pests?
No. It's like they just spray for spiders and stuff like that, and they check stuff. So far, I've only really been offered like, hey, we could do this for $500. You know, it's like extra stuff. So I just tried to cancel. First, I tried to go online to cancel. They don't let you do it. So I called. I talked to one person. I explained to her. She puts me on hold, transfers me to another person. They have to call me back because it's such a high call volume. Yeah, because everybody's pissed at you. And then she just keeps offering me, well, since you've been such a loyal customer, we'll give you 50% off your next service. And then we'll give you $119 for your services moving forward. I said, no, thank you. So she goes, let me just put in my notes and cancel the service. Comes back, well, I just need to tell you from like a heartfelt message from me. You have been a really loyal customer to us. So I'd like to give you your next service for free. And then we'll do $119 for your next services after that. And we'll send out a manager to come look and see. We have 45 formulas. Maybe the one we're using isn't working for your house. And so then I told her, it shouldn't take me calling to cancel for you to be checking to make sure the formula you're using is working for my fucking house.
I think we learned a lesson here, though.
So true.
Man, you want free stuff? Threaten to cancel.
Oh, yeah. That's what
a
they
better,
always do.
You want a better
Shit.
price? Just threaten to cancel. That's what I do with my storage unit. But coming back to this, though, so do you actually have pests in your house, though?
No.
This is just like...
it's preventative.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But that's why Mark was like, I think we can just do this on our own.
Yeah.
Like, we can spray some shit, and we already have, like, a thing that catches the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, you do live kind of like in a woodsy area, so I would imagine there are bugs out there. I always get scared of ticks, honestly, more than anything.
Oh, yeah, but
I
that's
don't
like
think
super woodsy.
Yeah, you're not that
No.
deep in the woods.
No. I mean, we're in Mill Creek. It's not exactly woodsy.
It's gonna.
No, but you're just like on the cool golf
What's happening to your farty microphone over there?
I know. Can
Can you say excuse me?
Sorry. Excuse me.
There you go.
Well, wait. No, I just had to move it. It wasn't moving. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay,
You
continue.
don't have to apologize.
Actually, you went to a funeral this week. Are you okay? That's kind of what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I figured that's
yeah,
what
no,
you meant.
I want to know that
okay.
too. Are you
Just
okay?
checking.
Yeah, I've been having a very hard time with this.
I'm sorry. Do you not want to talk about it?
No, it's fine. So a friend of okay.
No, it's okay.
My best friend's sister died 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
The day before her 44th birthday.
Wow.
They think had a stroke.
Oh my gosh.
And there were no previous conditions.
She had AFib.
What does that mean?
Like your irregular heartbeat. And it was supposed to be being managed, we thought. But her 15-year-old daughter found her in her bed in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And then had to give her CPR.
Oh my God.
And then her husband is a firefighter, and he was driving home from work and heard the 911 call come into his house.
Oh no.
So it was obviously just like the most heartbreaking situation. So I went down to the funeral this week, and they live in Northern California, and it was, I have to say, like the most awful and most beautiful thing I've ever seen at the same time. Like the entire Novato Fire Department supported them, and that's where they live. And they had like the fire trucks at the memorial, and they had the flag up with the ladders, which is now the third one of those I've been to.
Wow.
But I've never seen it done for a firefighter's wife. And there was probably 300
Oh my
people
gosh.
at the memorial.
Wow.
And her 15-year-old daughter spoke.
Aw.
She told a story about the night before her mom died. They'd gotten in a fight, and she told her mom, I don't like you very much right now.
Damn.
And that was the last thing she said to her, and then found her the next morning.
God.
And I just have to say, her daughter, my goodness, like their kids are phenomenal. But the strength that her daughter showed and the support that they got was amazing. And there was like the police department helped out and it shut off the roads so we could all get from the memorial to the reception.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just heartbreaking. And my best friend is like a massive jokester. Like he deals with everything with humor. He spoke.
This is Oliver.
Mm-hmm. He spoke. He cried. He laughed. I mean, her husband gave the most beautiful speech I've ever heard.
Wow.
Like it literally made me think, if I died, what would Mark say about me?
Mm.
And it's just made me think a lot. Like my biggest fear is that I wouldn't be there for Palmer.
Mm.
Aw.
And so all I keep thinking about is if that happened to me, what would Palmer and Mark do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a parent, like that's, you obviously, your biggest fear is losing your child. That's like,
Number one.
It's something you don't even want to think about. But
Yeah.
it's like putting this into perspective and watching her kids and how they've handled it and their family and how they've reacted. It's like I immediately got home and crawled into bed next to Palmer and just like cuddled her.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been able to not be around her enough. Like,
It's gonna make me cry.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's just really hard.
I think that, I mean, those types of things that happen, they're just fluke accidents. It's somebody that's a similar age. You know, there could have been so much more life to live, and
Yeah.
the thought of even losing somebody close to you, let alone, you know, a parent. And for that 15-year-old girl, that's a nightmare. Like people always say, you know, make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them and whatever. But
Yeah.
her mom knew and knows.
And she's been
that
reinforced
she loves,
that
she
was
loves
not.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even thought, I was like, man, I think that saying I don't like you very much right now is a very mature response
I
to
was
say in a
gonna
fight with
say.
a parent, because most kids would yell, I hate you, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something like that. But I don't know. It makes you worry that like if I was gone, is anyone else going to love my child as much? Or
Aw.
is, you know, who's going to explain it to her? And you think like whenever your kid's sad, the one thing you want to do is hug them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're gone and your kid's sad, who's going to hug them the way that you hug them?
That sounds so sweet.
It does sound so sweet.
So,
And I'm sure that she's going to, I mean, that's a loss that she's going to experience for the rest of her life, or anybody that's lost a
Yeah,
parent.
they had 3 kids,
Especially at a young
Oh my
age.
gosh.
And she's
Yeah.
probably going to be the one that steps up and does that for her siblings.
yep.
And I mean, this is just probably the beginning of mourning. I can't even imagine. That's like fight or flight moment to be able to speak and to be around those people.
Yeah.
And then it just continues to hit.
Well, even to wake up and you go to your mom's room, like, why is she not up yet? Or like,
Yeah.
let me go tell her I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just all the thoughts. And then did it?
You'll never unsee that.
Yeah.
Does that mean like she passed in her like when you have a
No,
stroke
so they
like
gave her
that, or, like,
CPR and they took her to the,
how long did her daughter have to
paramedics-
give her CPR?
I don't know, but the paramedics got there and they got her to the hospital, but then they couldn't do anything. So, and as I said, what I heard was that it was a stroke. I haven't confirmed that, but it was something along those lines of a clot or a stroke or something. And I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's, you know, then you start to think like, well, what do I need to teach my kid?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And, you know, like we go over like fire drills or what do you do in an emergency and things like that. But I don't even think she's old enough to give CPR because they have to be pretty strong.
You have to be able to break like a
Your
ribs,
sternum.
right?
Your
Oh.
sternum, yeah.
But I think that's probably a lot for Palmer to think about. And it's actually quite amazing that 15-year-old knew how to do that.
What I'd heard is she'd learned it the day before. I don't know, but
Holy shit.
I mean, I've learned it a few times and I still don't think I could successfully do that to somebody.
I think you could if you were in
Fight or
that
flight.
moment. Yeah, because your second guessing doesn't come into play. It's what do I have to do?
Mm,
Right here, right now, like
Yeah,
real quick.
that is true.
yeah.
I think that it's always so weird, I think, because the best way to honor people that pass or people that you care about that pass is to live,
Yeah.
right? I think that's the best thing that anybody can do. And that's the one job that you have, is to live and to spread goodness.
Yeah. And I feel like I will say that was like the message that was received over and over. They had a rabbi who spoke beautifully, and it was like, I mean, she lived to the fullest. Everybody loved so hard and was wonderful. So yeah, that's what you can do. And I think one of them said, Your life isn't measured by what you have, or it's measured by the impact you have on others.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And how you make people feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. I mean, for you right now, and you also have to be careful because you don't want to get in your head so much that, you know, you hurt yourself in the process of trying to take care of Palmer or pass stuff down. And this is also you mourning and getting through this day by day and stuff. But if you are to think about the stuff that you want to pass down to Palmer or the things that your mom passed down to you, it's not teaching you how to do CPR.
Right.
I mean, a lot of it's just like how to love yourself or how to
Yes.
handle certain situations and stuff like that. And then just to your credit, your daughter is awesome.
Thank you.
She holds a great conversation. She's so helpful. She loves to tell like little stories. I ran into her in the hallway before you guys did your girls' weekend.
Yeah.
And she's like, we have a girls' weekend.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I will say the one thing Mark and I've always said is every time she, like, even since she was a baby, you know, if she's been at someone's house or we've picked her up from somewhere, oh, she was wonderful. She was wonderful. We're like, if you are wonderful wherever you are and you're maybe a shithead at home, like, we're winning.
Yeah.
Because we can take you other places where people enjoy you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we can take you somewhere with us and nobody's like, oh God, they brought their kid again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like your grandparents love having you around. That's a key. And then you can have your freakouts at home because that's all part of being a kid.
Yeah, that's how you grow
as long
up.
as you don't grow up like an entitled brat.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you guys kind of a deeper question. Do you think that you're living your life, I don't want to say to its fullest, but do you think that you're living your life in a way that you feel good about?
No.
Because it sucks that it takes somebody to pass, whether you know them or if it's somebody that's got a similar story or if it's your age, to remind you how important it is to live and to take advantage of the moments that we have. I mean,
Yeah.
we have this podcast to talk about how chaotic life can be, which adds to all different types of emotions. Sometimes you retreat and all of that is part of the circle of life. But to really feel like you're at least trying
Mm-hmm.
and living. Like, what for you, Ashley? Like, are you missing? I know
I just don't
Victoria's
think-
looking at me like, I'm gonna cry.
I just don't think I have a good work-life balance right now. And
Do you love your job?
most of it, aspects of it.
Mhm.
I feel like I am doing too many things just because I need to make more money. So so I do more stuff at home now for this job
Yeah.
To
you
try-
you do a lot.
to try to make more money because I took such a pay cut when I took this job. And so the stress of the financial aspect of it weighs on me a lot. And then I do all these other things. And so then I don't have time. Like, Palmer's home at summer, and every day I get home and she goes, what are we doing today?
Oh,
And I say, well, I've got to take a nap and then I have to do more work.
Dude,
And
that's a parent. This summertime for parents
Yeah.
is stressful. And I only know that through stories.
yeah, well, but it is like, and then it's like, and I feel bad, but it's like, well, but I'm not on summer break. You know, during the school year, she doesn't really know any of that because she goes to school and I'm done by the time
Yeah.
She gets
I
out.
pick her up. But it's, yeah, so we're supposed to make a list of stuff to do that she wants to do this summer. We talked about that like 3 weeks ago. Still haven't done it. So I'm like, I just need to stop saying, we'll do it later. We'll do it later. And I need to figure out a better way to navigate these extra things I have to do money-wise so that I can actually have more time for myself and my family
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and don't feel like I'm constantly working.
that's
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah,
Oh, it just sounds hard.
it is because I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
And I've been trying,
Yeah.
but it feels like I'm never caught up too because every week where I'm like, okay, now these are the things that I'm doing. And then something else gets added. And then it's like, okay, now where am I going to put that?
Oh, shit.
I mean, do you really have to do all of those things? Or is it so you can live
like
to
then-
the quality of life that you're accustomed
It's
to?
so that I can feel like I'm paying down debt and not feeling like because I was unemployed for a while
Mhm.
after, and I couldn't find a job once COVID hit. So I felt like I got really behind during that time. And I feel like I've been trying to play catch up since then. And when I took this job, I didn't make enough to add to playing catch up. And if I don't put money in savings, then I automatically feel like I'm not.
Going forward?
Yeah.
Kind
Does
of
that make
So
sense?
that's why I'm asking you this. And it's obviously I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just wondering if some of it is self-inflicted or if it's truly a necessity.
I think it's a necessity right now.
Okay.
I think, and then once I can balance that better, then I'll be good. But it's like, okay, I just got to have this rough patch for a little bit so that I can be in a better place overall. But
As
it's
long as you have
just-
a plan for that.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to get stuck in that.
Yeah, well, and I don't have any like I don't know. I feel that's I think the other thing is I do feel there's been an element of being stuck for the last like as I said, there are aspects of this job that I love. And none of this is like a secret to people or here, but do I want to do more like in terms of my actual main job? Yes. And so what I was hired for was kind of like a temporary thing or supposed to be a foot in the door.
Mhm.
And now I'm like hit with the realization that I'm going on 3 years of doing the same thing.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of hitting me harder than I expected it to,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, but I think awareness is also really key because years fly by so fast.
Yeah.
You're next, Victoria, too, so you're not off of this.
Yeah.
Bye.
But years fly by so fast, so then you look back at 3 years and you're like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a level of accountability and being able to advocate for yourself in those situations. Not to say that it's easy, also not to say that there's availability, not that
Yeah.
anybody is being helpful in this space or whatever it is.
And I will say we have wonderful bosses
We
who
do.
allow me to talk. I mean,
We
that's
do.
why I feel comfortable talking. I'm like, I talk to my bosses about this.
Yeah. Well, and they understand.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's dealing with budgets. Everybody's dealing with all of these
Yeah.
different things. But if you're answering a question that you're not living, then
Yeah. And I will say that I don't think is a direct reflection of this job. That's not why. I think
Yeah.
it's just a combination and culmination of a bunch of things
Mhm.
to the fact that in this current day and age where everything is now more expensive, I just feel like I'm getting further and further underwater
yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people feel
And
that way.
it's like, had things stayed the same in terms of the cost of things, I'd probably feel better about it. But it's like you already feel behind and then everything's more expensive and then you just feel like you're further and further behind.
Yeah, a lot of people are on that hamster
Yeah.
wheel for real.
Yeah.
But just a little glimmer of hope. We did report today, or we saw in the news that seriously, I don't know if this is going to be real.
Just say it, but it's funny in my opinion because the
Well-
way Brad said it.
Well, no, it's true though. So I need my little thing in front of me. But basically, inflation is supposed to be leveling out. So
that'd be nice
it
because otherwise they're
raised-
going to have a housing market crash again and everything's going to shit.
yeah, so allegedly it's starting to even out a little bit, which will be better for the Federal Reserve to deal with mortgages and credit cards and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So, I mean, we're still a long way from it. We're in election year, all that kind of stuff. So financially, it's just like
and
it's
then
just-
the
it's just-
election. That's a freaking joke.
Oh
No.
my god!
If the most passionate two effing political candidates can get is about their golf game, we are in a world of shit.
it's
We're in
I think-
America, actually.
I think we all know that. And I think that subconsciously adds to stress too, because even if it's just like not something that you follow every single
Yeah.
day, even if it's not something you have a conversation about, you're fully aware to a certain extent of what's happening and that it's coming up and that this is the state of.
Yeah, and it's like
life
this is
affairs.
I actually have to vote to be responsible and I have to vote for one of these.
And if that's your only options, it's like, what do you do? We're screwed.
I'd rather be in that episode of South Park and vote between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
Which one would you choose?
Probably the turd sandwich.
Someone told me the other day, they were like, I'm actually kind of worried. I'm like, why? Like, because you don't know, like, who you're going to
Yeah.
choose because they're both bad. And they're like, no, I'm kind of worried because they're both so bad. I'm scared of what people are going to, like, do with the write-in. Like, you know how you can write in someone's name?
Oh,
But that's the thing is like people have if you're gonna write in someone's name, this would be the year for a third party candidate.
Yes.
But everybody has to get on board with the same person. That's the problem. If
Yeah.
write-ins, you're screwed because people aren't writing in the same amount or same person.
There is one person I can think of, but it's not, she should not be.
Taylor
do
Swift.
not say Taylor Swift.
She shouldn't be president.
No.
But if you need the amount of people that could write someone in,
Yeah.
there you go. You just need someone like Taylor Swift, but actually knows
That
politics.
is also, that would be another testament of the state of affairs if there were an outlandish number of people that wrote her in.
Not that
Yeah.
we should. I don't, like,
She's not advocating for it.
I'm
but
not
at the
saying-
same
I get
time,
that. I
she'd
get
probably
that.
be a better option than
but
one of the other
at
two.
the same time, you just need someone at the level of Taylor Swift who has the people, the numbers to vote for her.
Or I think we just have them actually play golf and whoever wins the presidency. And then we don't have to make the decision.
Whoever game.
Yeah.
Like, America
Uh,
is.
yeah, so that way it's not on us no matter what
Yeah.
happens.
It's like, well, you guys did this to yourselves. We had nothing to do with it.
On that note, Victoria, are you living?
Yikes. I don't know. And part of me is like, Victoria, when you graduated college, my plan was to go travel Europe for like a few months. Never did that.
Doesn't
Also,
mean you can't. But.
Doesn't mean I can't, but I already asked our boss if I could go take a sabbatical. He
Oh.
was like, "What? Why?" I was like,
you got to get pregnant and then have a baby to do that.
"Wait, seriously? That's what a sabbatical is?"
Well, maternity
Well,
leave.
Maternity leave. But then you have a baby, so you
Yeah,
can't
I
really just go
don't-
backpacking with a baby across Europe. They're a lot of work.
I also don't want to have a baby. Like
Would
that.
anybody
Well-
know if you really did?
No,
You
but
could
then-
be a surrogate. Say you're being a surrogate for someone else.
Yeah.
Then you just get the fake baby bump,
Yes.
grow it, but you still get the leave because you've had
So
a
I'm playing
baby.
the long game.
You should actually be a surrogate because then you'd make money.
Yeah, and you'd make money.
But then you
you
still
did
have
it.
to have a baby. I don't think
Yeah.
y'all understand how terrified I am. And now hearing about like with Ash, was talking about like with her kids, like
Yeah.
how like much of an emotional. I'm not even like that emotionally tethered to like any man I ever meet. Like how am I gonna do it for like a child? Like I don't.
All right, good point.
Yeah.
So like I don't think that I can do that.
Well, imagine being that emotionally attached to a man and a child. Yeah, it's a lot of emotions. I don't know that my body. And then Mark this week kept being like, because I took a nap the other day and I asked Palmer to cuddle with me.
Aw.
He goes, she's laying in bed with you for a nap. I go, yeah. He goes, why? I go, because I asked her to. And he just kind of shook his head. And I'm like, I don't think he understands
I don't
how
think he
difficult
does.
this is and like what I need to get through it. This is the first day that I've actually been like relatively upbeat and normal.
Aw.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's understandable. And I
Yeah.
bet it's going to keep coming in waves.
You
Yeah.
should be like, damn it, Mark, leave me
Yeah,
alone.
let me cuddle with our 9-year-old.
He
Mark,
probably
if you're
was
listening to
jealous.
this,
He
then-
wanted
my
to be
gosh.
in it.
Yeah, maybe. No,
Then
he.
ask next time.
She slept in the bed while I was gone one night, and apparently she ended up sideways with her feet on him, and all of the covers ended up on the floor. So that's never happening again.
That's
That's
so
how
funny.
every kid sleeps, though. You just gotta let them live, man.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I'm
why
saying.
when she sleeps with me, she's got a leg on me and an arm on me, so she doesn't sleep
Aw.
sideways.
Aw, that's cute.
So she
Yeah.
doesn't sleep sideways. It's like,
Do you sleep sideways, Victoria?
well, I sleep with myself, so I sleep like however I want. Like I can.
Do you
sleep starf-
starfish?
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes I also do diagonal,
Nice.
Yeah.
just because I can,
Yeah.
and just that way I feel like Mimosa gets like annoyed
Her
with
cat.
me. My cat,
Yeah.
sorry. Whenever I want to move around,
Oh
so
yeah.
I kind of sometimes have to like form my body around her, so she still
Yeah.
has like a pillow up against me.
Yeah,
But-
what does my cat likes to sleep right in between my legs, like in my
Yes.
crotch, and then I'm like, I'm so hot, I need you to move. Like I don't need my crotch hotter than
I mean, you have
Normal
so
life.
much love in your house. You have a dog, you have a cat,
Two
you have
cats.
Your
a,
dog
but
is
one
so
doesn't love us.
cute.
a husband and a daughter.
yeah.
Victoria, you have a cat.
But she's
Well, I have my mom and my dad.
yeah, but that's okay. A cat gives a lot of love. A mom and a dad give a lot of love.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay, but I didn't mean to derail us from Victoria's
Yeah. So,
failure to feel like she's living because she didn't go to Europe.
because she didn't get,
Um,
and then what
But
else?
then also there's like so many things going on in the world. I'm like, I always like when I was younger, like wanted to be someone who would go and like help. That's why we were talking about the food bank the other day. Like I really want to do that around here because
Sure.
like I like when I was younger, like my not dream job, but I used to want to be like a doctor without borders, like go to other countries and like be a doctor. Granted, I don't have the mind capacity to be
I was
a
gonna
doctor.
say, then did you realize you actually had to be a doctor? To go?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, then there's like nurses without borders and stuff like that. So I'm like, ooh,
But there's all different types of like Habitat for Humanity, like where you can go and build
Yeah.
houses and stuff, and like different.
I did that once, but not like over. I did
I
it
was-
like in my neighborhood.
We did it. I did it down in like Columbia City.
Oh, down here?
Yeah. We should do that.
I
want to
start doing
it's really
stuff like
fun.
that, like more like around here, like
They'd build
I don't know what you
parks.
call that.
They
Yeah.
do all that
There's
type
so
of stuff.
many opportunities around here to help.
help.
I love that.
But so I want to do that more.
And you could go to Northwest Harvest and help at the
What's
food
that?
bank.
Mhm.
It's a massive food bank here.
Really?
Yeah.
See, so like I want to do stuff like that. Wait, guys, can we go do it together?
Yeah,
That'd be kind of fun.
I'll go.
Okay, yay. Well, okay, so that's kind of checkbox. I don't know. I feel like my friends that live here, I love them so much. But they are half of them are like very what's it called? Not like outgoing. You get energy when you're around people. What is it called? Extroverted people.
Oh yeah.
And so they're like go, 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 which I love doing, but then that's like spending money, which like I make like, especially like for my age and like the industry we're in, I make good, like decent money, I think. Like I don't think I make bad money. But I do feel like I want to work a lot. And so I tell them no, but then at the same time, I want to also like make more money because they do make like crazy money in my opinion. Not crazy, but for my age, I never knew someone could make this much money.
I mean, this is a common theme here.
For you or for them?
For them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, when they told me, I was like, holy cow. And they get bonuses like every few
Oh,
months.
yeah.
And I'm like, holy.
Yeah. My friends are all really well off.
Mine
I know.
too.
Yeah.
like, how
it's
do
super
you-
fun.
I'm just like, what?
And I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe my wonderful friend was like, do you want to hang out in your backyard? We're going to hang out tomorrow. She asked. I was like, yes, I need that. She goes, do you want to hang out in your backyard or do you want to go somewhere? I was like, backyard. Absolutely. Yes. I don't want to go anywhere. Yes.
Well, then I found out also, Nina, I don't think you know this, but literally, so I haven't had a great week, not as bad as yours, but like I just haven't been talking to my dad. Like it's a whole thing. So I've been really sad about that. And then yesterday I get home and I check the mail. Normally I don't check the mail. And this is like a sign to just never check the fucking mail.
I was going to say, so are you ever going to check it again?
No, because I opened a bill that I got from a lab that my doctor told me like I could send something in for $300. Okay.
Did it go through your insurance?
Just wait.
Oh God.
Yep, trust me. So first I was like, I'm pretty sure this lab quote unquote test is like I peed in a cup for 2 seconds. Like that's what $300 cost. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, yeah, because they have to take your urine and like pull
Run
it
a bunch of
apart
tests.
and run tests.
Like
on
what do I have to
it.
do
Like,
with it though?
You're not
Like,
getting paid to pee in a cup.
well,
I
I'm
mean, yeah,
paying to be in a cup.
But yeah, it's what happens, all the tests that have to be run on it.
And
They run like
cultures.
probably 30 tests on it. or
no,
something.
it makes me never want to pee in a fucking cup again, to be honest with you.
Well, you shouldn't really want to pee in a cup in general.
Oh.
I mean, it's fun,
Sure.
but
I usually
Okay.
I usually end up peeing on my hand somewhat,
well,
but
that's why it's a game.
Ew.
Like,
Yeah.
will I not pee on myself this
that's
time?
why if you ever have to take a pregnancy test, the one thing I did learn though, because it's hard to pee on a stick,
Pee in a cup.
you pee in a solo cup. I learned this from Kim Zolciak Bierman, who has 95 children, so it clearly
Oh.
works. You pee in a solo cup, then just stick the stick in the cup.
Oh,
That's
that's actually
so
smart.
And a
much
solo
smart.
cup's so big.
That's
it's
so
super
smart.
easy, and then
Yeah.
you don't pee on your hand.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
actually
Look at
really
that.
smart.
You're welcome.
Okay.
But okay,
Anyways, so that happened. So then I was calling the doctor and I was like, I wanted to talk about like the bill that I got. And she goes, oh, like, yeah, like your office visit bill. And I was like, I have a bill for an office visit? And she goes, yeah, you've been to office visits. One, mind you, was a 15-second video visit that I did after one of the breaks we had here. Literally, we'll say 10 minutes maybe. I said 15 seconds, sorry. 10 minutes of him just asking me a list of questions to give me my ADHD medication.
Mhm.
And then the other one, I actually had to go in because every year, once a year, I have to go in person so he can check like my vitals and I don't know what he does, but you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, like I'm thinking it's like maybe $50 because usually when I was younger, it would be like $25.
Yeah.
And I asked, I was like, what's the bill? And she told me it's $1,400.
Okay, so this didn't go through your insurance
And
yet.
I wanted to cry. So then I called my mom and I was like, Mom, like, I don't know what's wrong. And she's like, Victoria, did it go through your insurance? So then I called and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And they're like, yeah, well, your insurance isn't, like, it's not
active.
active. Like, we don't have it. I was like, what do you mean it's not? Like, I don't know what that means. And she's like, ma'am, like, we've tried going through it. It's just, like,
you
not
didn't
working.
do when they
Did you-
did open enrollment for benefits.
No, I did, but I'm under my dad's insurance. And mind you, he got a new insurance in
You have your own insurance.
I know,
but how old are you? Yeah.
24.
Oh, because
So, like,
she
I
could
can
still-
still stay
Yeah.
under my dad's. And so I was like, why not? Well, I'm also not talking to my dad, so I couldn't. I
Ask
could,
him.
but I didn't want to call him and ask him. And so I was like literally crying for like
Just send him the
Oh.
bill. Just be like, if you mess this
no.
up,
It's just because so he got a new insurance in January. This insurance is the worst I've ever heard. Mind you, here's for a school district. I'm like, fuck the system. Like, I hate this place. I'm moving anywhere else. Like this. Anyways, so then I literally for 2 hours was going back and forth to like trying to get on hold with the insurance company. Mind you, they put me on hold twice, and also they sent me to voicemail like
Oh.
2 times. Also, like after being on hold, and I was like, I feel bad. 'Cause I sent I was really mad, so I sent a really nasty voicemail.
you're probably not the only first person that's ever sent them
Right?
a nasty voicemail.
And so then I was on the phone with them, and then on the phone with the doctors. Like, no one could figure out the insurance. No one could figure it out. And I was like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I found y'all on the list. Like, they sent me a list. So then I called the doctor like one last time and got in the hold with like one lady, and I was like, hey, like, does this doctor work here? Like, I'm trying to find a new doctor. And she goes, ma'am, I don't know who you're talking about. And I was like, well, am I saying it wrong? And it turns out that doctor no longer works there. And she goes, you probably have an old list. Like, the insurance just gave you an old list. And I was like, cool. And I'm like almost about to cry. And I'm like, can I please read you off some of these other names? And she goes, sure, sweetheart, go. Like, this was like the nicest woman ever. And then she told me that all the doctors are available but are not taking new patients. And then she figured out that my insurance might be going by something else on their sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So then I called the doctor back and had to talk to them. Basically, they had to run through it again, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. So I either owe $1,700 or I don't.
Well, I will say this because our insurance is not great, and I've had the same issue where they consider a bunch of people out of network. But I'm like, but on this claim, it literally says right here
Says-
in network. So how Are you guys not processing the same thing?
Don't you guys ask before you go?
I did. They told me
Okay.
that it was
Yeah.
fine also,
But
which is
that's
why
the
it made me
thing,
mad.
or you find the thing and it says in, like, I checked, do you take this insurance? And you give it to them first, and they do, and it's fine, and everything, and my insurance, whatever. But they'll run it back through, and then usually it'll come back, and they'll be like, oh, whoops, we screwed it up. But, or they'll let you make it in payments too. You don't have to just come up with $1,700 all at once.
Well, I hate the idea of putting in payments because I have a bill every single month, and I already have enough bills. I'm like, I don't want to add one.
Yeah.
But I did, like, at the end of it, 'cause, like, I was crying for a hot minute. I was like, Victoria, you need to be, like, well aware. Like, I'm very fortunate to where, like, I have a savings account. I have the money, and I was smart enough to put money in it. And also, it just made me, like, realize, like, my medication that I take isn't necessity. Like, I don't need it for life or death. Like, it's not like insulin that people need.
yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
ADHD medication, I need if you want me to do really well at my job. But like people back in the 1700s weren't taking that like to do their shit.
When they were doing radio.
Yeah, or anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah. But then also like my birth control, that's not necessarily a necessity. I
Well,
mean,
birth control
helps a lot.
should be covered.
but my gynecologist.
I mean,
No,
yes, it's
it's-
women's health. That should be
but
covered.
something that with when Obama was president, he passed something that birth control should be free for most people.
Just go to Planned Parenthood.
The birth control is free, but I need to visit I have to visit her every
Year.
year.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
fine.
okay. One visit a year.
What-
That should definitely
I just need
be
to make
covered.
sure the doctor's covered by my
Yeah,
insurance, and
yeah.
that's the only thing that's hard because I'm supposed to go to a doctor's visit next week for
So-
both of them.
But you're healthy.
Yes, exactly. And so like I realized like I need to stop crying about this because this is stupid. Not that
No,
stupid,
but,
but
money's frustrating and stressful, and all of that's frustrating and stressful when you think you're going about it the right way, and then something comes back, and they're like, "Oh, well, no, this is." You're like, "Wait, why? Why? I did this."
and I'm
how
like,
I
you
was
told me
supposed
it
to."
was fine. Also, someone at your office told me like this insurance would be covered by this
Yeah.
doctor, or whatever. And she's like, I'm so sorry, sweet. Like they're all very nice. Like all the doctors I talked to, insurance people suck.
Yeah.
But the doctors were super sweet. And I literally told one of the ladies, I'm like, bless your soul, ma'am, because you made my day today.
Aw.
Because, oh, sweetheart, you don't like stop. And I was like, I'm about to like literally just burst into tears and like run outside just to like get hit by a brick wall. But
Oh.
thank you.
Don't run into a wall.
No.
No, I thought about it, but
Nah.
I
not
mean,
yet.
it's always frustrating when that stuff happens, and not to be Susie Sunshine, but when you do, you learn, and then you don't do the
Yeah.
same mistake again. You know
true.
what I mean?
It's
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's very inconvenient, but once you learn that stuff, then you just keep on popping. And then shout out to that lady because people go through stressful things all the time,
Mm-hmm.
come back from funerals or whatever it is, so you never know what people are going through, and so being nice actually goes a really long way. So
Very
I'm
true.
glad that she made your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you though? Do you feel like you are
Ooh.
living your life?
I do.
Oh, good for
oh,
you.
pop off.
I do think so because
Pop.
I'm going to keep mine short because we're going to get kicked out of the studio.
I know,
But
sorry.
No, that's
My bad.
okay. No. It's great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I think that I am because, I mean, of course, there's always more that can be done. But for the most part, I just take big risks. And I know that about myself. And sometimes it's really scary. But for whatever reason, I'm more comfortable in scariness and pain than I am in happiness,
Mhm.
which is kind of a really dark thing to say. But it's almost like things are so good. Why? Things are so good. How long is that going to last?
Mhm.
Like, so I feel comfortable in.
constant like fight or flight or like a
I actually feel more peace than I used to, but it did used to feel like my body was in fight or flight all the time. I think I feel more peace knowing that I have control over what happens to a certain extent. Like if I'm doing the work, like if I'm making steps towards that, if I'm prioritizing spending time with my friends, like if I'm doing all of that stuff. And then sometimes I really love being by myself in my room for like hours and hours and hours at a time, just watching TV and laying there. Like,
Preach.
Mhm.
and that's how I charge myself. But so while for some people that feels like I'm wasting a day or like you're wasting time, like
I
for
don't
me,
think
it's
so.
so necessary. So when I'm in moments, I can go harder,
Mhm.
or I'm in moments and I can, actually receive it better. So
But I wouldn't say that sitting by yourself in your room and watching TV or whatever you're doing isn't being in that moment either.
no, totally. My brain's working. And that's
Yeah.
like how
Wow.
I kind of digest and process what had just happened that day.
Yeah.
Or process what I need to do moving forward or how I'm feeling. I've been journaling a lot.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
And that's really been helping with just sleeping better because, when your head won't quiet, if you just write stuff down or let it out, it helps. And so I've been doing that a lot and reflecting a lot. And I do feel really proud of myself for the most part. I wish I traveled more. Work-life balance is not something I'm very good at either. But I do love the rush of
go.
when you accomplish something,
Ah.
like that's a high that I chase. Like when I set out to, when I set a goal and it gets accomplished, that feeds me.
I think, yeah, and I would say having goals and accomplishing them, that should be like a natural.
Yeah.
I think that's
You're
the
right.
problem with what I'm doing, is it's not like really an end goal other than get all this stuff done for the week.
Yeah.
That's the
And then you have
difference.
next week, and then you have to get all next
Yeah.
week's stuff done.
And it doesn't feel like it's leading towards something.
Right.
It feels like it's just part
It's
of
just
the day.
at least taking care of the stuff that has to get done.
I've felt like that before, though. I've 100% been in different situations where that was the case. And there were a lot of times where I was very miserable. And maybe I'm on my antidepressants and they work really well. But I think that making the choice to come home, I don't love that I don't have a place of my own. I don't love that. I don't love that I'm not traveling as much as I'd like to. But I know that I will because I'm building something that's truly mine and allowing myself to express myself in ways that I don't have to apologize for. And that's not just with business, but that's what the radio is. And that's what living is, not apologizing for how I choose to express myself. Like even, just by telling somebody that I was hanging out with that I didn't want to hang out with them anymore, if I couldn't express my care for them with physical stuff, like the Mozart thing, circled back again. And then we hung out and then, I was being super flirty and stuff. And he was like, no, let's just be friends. And I was like, you know what? I adore you. Friends could be cool, but that's not what I want. I need to be.
And you weren't friends first.
Right. And I said that too. And he agreed. But I was just for me, it's really important to be able to express myself as long as it's respectful to the people around me.
Yeah.
How I need to. And with him, I wanted to express myself by flirting and kissing and all of those things. So, and if I couldn't, then I didn't feel welcome there. It didn't feel comfortable. So
Good for you.
Mind you, she still stayed to eat the pasta that he made.
He didn't
yeah.
make pasta. He made shrimp.
Oh,
Of course
my
I
bad.
stayed because I was being polite. And then I told him I was leaving.
Go you.
That's a different story.
I would have walked out.
I mean, I would have stayed and gotten the meal.
Seriously?
I mean, I was pretty upset.
I'd have been so
I
annoyed.
had just gotten it's almost like my hand just got slapped away from the
Oh.
candy jar.
I don't know. Then I probably would have.
Candy
I would have been like, I would have grabbed 2 shrimp and walked out.
Get a skewer,
Yeah.
skewer those babies and dip.
I'm out.
But I mean, it's just being more aware of myself. I think I feel like I'm living more when awareness is there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Wait, just how do you feel?
No,
About what?
because you were saying how you aren't beating yourself up over the fact that when you go home and you're sitting and laying, you can lay for hours and watch movies and TV, but and not feeling like you're wasting your day. Because I get told a lot that I waste my day by that, and I like doing that, but also it's I get in my head am I wasting my day? What am I doing? Oh my god, Victoria, go
I
outside.
feel like you need a day to waste every once in a while.
I mean, I do it every day.
Oh, nice.
There is the time in every day where that has to happen for me because it's the time where I process.
Yeah.
And that's part of awareness. Not everybody needs that. Some people, Gabby's sitting in here listening to us right now. So our social producer, Gabby, for the Jubal Show, we know she feeds herself by reading. We know she feeds herself by hanging upside down because she's a gymnast.
Upside down.
And does
Gabby's
so.
just reading books upside down.
But
Don't
she
mind her.
can do
But
that.
she's not laying in her bed watching TV, but that's how she feeds herself. Sometimes people do that by cleaning or, whatever it is and how you process.
Oh.
To some people, it seems lazy, but I guarantee you they're not aware. I guarantee you they don't know what they need to feel fed and relaxed or even, that's why people go on vacation. People work 9 to 5s to be able to go home and get ready for the vacation or go away that weekend or whatever it is. Your life is not like that. And so being aware of how your life is organized is going to dictate how you need to take care of yourself. And it's organized by your brain. And your brain is very special. And so
Thank you.
all of our brains are, but Victoria's
But yours is extra.
but Victoria's works in a different way. So if you need that, then listen to yourself. I always go back to this because I used to make fun of my mom, and I've said this on this podcast before, and I used to make fun of her for telling me this all the time, but it's probably the truest thing she's ever said, and that is listen to your body. Your body will speak to you. It will tell you what it needs to eat. It'll tell you when it needs to sleep. It'll tell you when something's wrong. It will tell you everything you need to know, so listen to it. And if it's telling you to chill, do that. If it's telling you you have anxiety, pay attention to that. So my mom was right. And so, yeah, it's awareness, but that takes time to allow yourself to dig deep enough to know yourself, to feel aware. Does that make sense? I wasn't always like that. I felt guilty for the longest time. I didn't feel comfortable. So I also grew up in hustle culture. So I would be taking Adderall just to stay awake for 48 hours so I could work for 48 hours and do all of
I
that stuff.
wish it had the same effect on me. I really do. I want to feel that high.
Dude, it got me through college.
I took
was-
No-Dose. I've never taken Adderall.
I
but
took No-Dose too.
Yeah.
What's a
Yeah.
no-do?
No-Dose is like a caffeine pill.
I don't
That's-
think they're legal anymore.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
take that
seriously?
and drink Mountain Dew.
And like, what was it? Ephedrine?
Oh,
Excedrin, the
ephedrine.
migraine?
Ephedrine.
Yeah.
It was like
A weight loss.
hydroxycut. It was like, but it just,
You just lay in bed at night like this.
so
What
you
the
just would get up
fuck?
and write papers or get
Yeah.
up and like do whatever. So I think it's healthier to just chill.
It is way healthy.
I was like, is it bad that I want to just see what?
No, you don't want it.
that's
It's
like.
literally you feel your heart pounding out of your chest.
Yeah, that's not
Holy
awesome.
shit.
I think you should just go run sprints and it'll do the same thing.
Mhm.
Bitch,
Okay.
I don't want to do that.
Also, real quick,
Yeah.
because I know we are going to get kicked out,
Yeah, we
but
gotta
can
go.
we give a little shout out to T-Bozzy? Is something new and exciting happening with some new products?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll have a whole episode to talk about it.
Okay,
but
good.
yes, I just also had an awesome meeting yesterday with how to expand. But yeah, we do.
Oh,
We have a
shit.
cleanser and hydration spray that's coming. So we'll have a 1, 2, 3 step by fall and some really exciting stuff for the holiday. And then we'll do like a whole breakdown and talk about all that
Love
stuff later.
it.
But
And-
thanks for asking because the local TV news or whatever covered us.
I
So that
saw
was
it.
really cool. A beauty editor was like, I'm going to feature you as
Oh,
one of
that's
like, you know,
cool.
my favorite Northwest
Oh,
brands, like
shit.
locally owned, whatever. So, yeah, it was really cool. So,
Pop
thank you.
off, bitch.
Thanks for asking. We'll get into all of that stuff later, but I think the biggest takeaway is awareness and live your life. Okay.
Yes. And
Oh.
say I love you.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes. So
That's just gonna make me cry.
we love
Sorry.
you. And in the meantime, stay chaotic.
But keep it classy.